Hey gang, we're in here. Welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of Suckerpunch Sunday, the series where we take a deep dive into a classic fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. And for this week, I'm not gonna lie, I need a serious palate cleanser after the debacle that was last week playing Earthworm Jim for the first time. I did get no fair amount of stink on that from people in the comments saying, well, you know, why did you think you could actually get through it if you'd never played it before? That's part of the point of why I have these series and why I have this channel, is to try these games out. But to be fair, I should have done a little bit more homework on it, and I should have known a bit more about what I was getting into. Well, for this week, we don't necessarily have that problem because we are going to shift gears and go all the way back to 2006 and the PS2 for a game that at the time was immensely popular and has been ported over to a gazillion different consoles. We're going to play the original Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Now, if you're not familiar with this game, essentially this was the Avengers before the Avengers, which was a god-awful Square Enix game that came out, what, 3-4 years ago now? It feels like it was 3-4 years ago with how the pandemic and everything is gone. But if you ask anybody what is the superior game, I'm pretty sure they'll tell you it's this one, even though it's 20 years older. Now, the general premise of this game, and we'll have this cutscene playing out, so it'll give you a bit of an idea of what it is that we are having to save the world from a massive conflagration of superpowered villains who want to, of course, take it over, led by one Victor Von Doom. Now, I know that doesn't look like Samuel L. Jackson, but that is the original version of Nick Fury from S.H.I.E.L.D. He didn't always look like Samuel L., not to say that's a bad thing, but that's just how he was originally created. So what we get to do is we have, in order to stop Doom's plot, we have 100, and I'm not kidding, 140 different playable characters at our disposal over the course of this game that we can utilize in various scenarios. For this introductory one, we get the tandem of Captain America, Spider-Man, Thor, and Wolverine. Now, if you know anything about the history of these games, Activision started with doing X-Men Legends, which is a game that I seriously contemplated playing instead of this one, but in doing checks to make sure that the games worked as they needed to, Marvel Ultimate Alliance cooperated more with my PlayStation 2 emulator than anything else. But the mechanics of the games are very, very similar in that you can switch between different characters as you're going through these scenarios. Each one has different special features exclusive to their character. So Spidey's got his own special attack, as Cap's got his own special attack, as Thor has his own special attack, and so on. Hey Cap, looks like you. Now, there are non-playable characters you'll be able to get in this game as well. And over the course of its lifetime, this game was released on, see if I can get this all in one breath, PS2, Xbox, Microsoft Windows, Xbox 360, Game Boy Advance, PlayStation Portable, Wii, PS3, PS4, and Xbox One. So it's made the rounds. And when it got upgraded to the PS3 and the Xbox 360, the versions that came out graphically were identical. And these games for the time proved to be very, very popular. Now, we are playing, again, as I said, the PlayStation 2 version. And we'll go through this first scenario, and we will see what we will do over the course of the next half an hour and see how far we get. Now, I will warn you, if you're going to play this on a PlayStation 2 emulator, as opposed to getting your hands on actual PlayStation 2, we're playing it on PCSX2, which is considered the best emulator on the market. But you do have to do some tweaking to the configuration as far as graphics and the setup to make sure it runs properly at this sort of frame speed. If you run it on the default settings, it will not always go through. So just bear that in mind. I did have to do some tweaking to get this to work. So right now I'm controlling Cap. Now these little icons we can pick up here, they're like the currency in this game. Your triangle is jump, and then you have a standard attack using your X button, and then your heavy attack is your circle button. Triangle is jump, L1 is block. So we can't go that way. As you see, there's the map over here that will point us in the direction which we need to go on the right side. Now, there is no time limit for getting through each scenario. But in why I figured this would be a perfect game for Suckerpunch Sunday is, in essence, this is a multiplayer fighting game. You go through each level, you beat stuff up, you move on to the next scenario until you finish the game. Now, one of the things that you find out as you're playing through it, excuse me, is that as you unlock different characters and as you're able to expand your roster, one of the perks of that is that you can start putting together teams based on established franchises. So, for example, if I was to put, let's use the classic Avengers lineup of Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, whomever. You don't go have 4 on a side. But if you do that, if you put together ones that are from established teams, you do get you get a bonus that will help you out through the scenario because they are team compatible. So in this instance, having Wolverine, not that having Logan is on a team is bad. I will always take having Logan whenever I can get him. So to switch characters, all you have to do is use the D-pad, and you can switch them around. Now the green light under the character will be you. And because they had released and created X-Men Legends first, and they were incorporated into this game, and now we get to fight Scorpion, there are quite a few mutants that you can pack into a team as well, and you will get benefits from using them as you go.
If you only knew. You want to get tough, punk?
So now we get to fight Scorpion, who is he's a low-tier Spider-Man villain. And the thing, obviously, we have to worry about with him is his tail. So while the other 3 are wailing away on Scorpion, I'm going to take these Ultron droids out and back up the rest of the team.
I'm just getting started.
Well, we're making quick work of Scorpion. This first level, again, being a tutorial level, is not meant to be super hard. So we've taken him out, and we should pick up some more stuff here. Now, these shield tokens that we will pick up are essentially currency. And everybody has leveled up. And as you go through the game, you do want to learn to do things like block. That is helpful. That will help you stay alive longer. So we will go up to the command deck. Now, overall, in terms of ratings, this game is scored about a low C to a B. Excuse me, a high C to a B.
Thanks for responding to my SOS so quickly. The helicarrier's under attack by a group of supervillains called the Masters of Evil. And to make matters worse, they're led by Victor Von Doom.
Ruh-roh.
My thoughts exactly. It's not important. I told you.
Colonel Fury, this is the Black Widow. The Masters of Evil have activated the launch cycle of our nuclear missiles.
Help is on its way, Black Widow. Fury out. Team. Just one of those missiles could level an entire city. Failure.
So now we gotta go down to the launch bay. Whoop, I didn't want to do that. There we go, so we exit the bridge, and now we are down in the bowels of the helicarrier. So now if we want to, we could change team members. So right now we've got Spider-Man, Thor, Cap, and Wolverine. Behind us, we've got Spider-Woman, Deadpool, I believe that's Iceman. We have Elektra, the Human Torch, Iron Man, Thing, Luke Cage, Invisible Woman, Storm, Mr. Fantastic, and Miss Marvel. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out Spidey for Tony Stark. And then who else can I put in here? I think I will keep Wolvie, because Wolvie's just good to have in a pinch. I've got strength with Thor and an Iron Man. I've got fighting with Cap and Wolvie.
For Odin and for Asgard.
So I think we're good. But as I said, the PlayStation 2 version of this game on Game Rankings has an 82%, and on Metacritic it's got an 81%. The average ranking is between... The Wii came in at 74%, and the highest rated ones were the PC version and the original Xbox version at 83%. But really, they're all in the ballpark, so it's hard to go wrong with picking this game. Regardless of the console you are on, I would say out of all of it, the Wii is the one that's probably the weak sister in the bunch. Well, that's not good. Energy converter destroyed. We're trapped in this room. We'll have to swap out the old converter with a new one. Alright, so Tony has learned new powers. I think what we need to do is we need to pull this one out. We need to plug this one in. Now we go back up here, turn this back on. And that lowers the barrier. Alright, so we will come around this way. A resilient Ultron soldier. If you don't know who Ultron is, if you've seen the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, that will basically tell you all you need to know about him. Although in the comics, he was not created by Tony Stark. Ultron was created by Hank Pym, who you may know as Ant-Man, or at least the guy who is in the Ant-Man movies. In the comics, Hank Pym was like the mad scientist of the Marvel Universe. But for continuity purposes and connecting it with the Avengers, they put it in Tony Stark's hands. Not saying it was right or wrong one way or the other. That's just how Kevin Feige and the crew at Marvel adapted it for movies. And again, as somebody who is playing this game currently, it may not be much of a surprise to you that I'm a comic book dork of epic proportions, and I thoroughly loved the Avengers movies. In fact, I like quite a lot of the MCU. I also like the Netflix Marvel Universe that came out with Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. And yeah, you could say that Iron Fist was not the good one in that bunch, and I'm inclined to agree with you. Defenders had its flaws, and
This won't take much longer.
I will also freely admit that I think the MCU at this point could stand, not to get a reboot, but it does need some help. And it could stand to have a reanalysis of it. Climb, Logan, climb!
Bub, you're a mess.
It's one of the many, many, many reasons I love Logan as a character. I am looking forward to seeing the Daredevil, or not Daredevil, Deadpool Wolverine movie. The original Deadpool, I thought, was one of the best things that the MCU opted to do post-Avengers. But I will also freely admit that I thought Logan as a film is one of the best, not just comic book movies, but one of the better movies I saw in the last 5 years.
Guess you didn't want a piece of me.
I thought that was a great flick, and it wasn't even just entirely because of Hugh Jackman, although Hugh being Wolvie for the course of his career, I mean, you know what you're getting. But Daphne Keane as Lara was revelatory.
You could give up.
I will go so far as to say, and I don't think anybody would tell me I'm wrong, that it was one of the best performances by a new child actor, boy or girl, since Carrie Henn in the sequel to 1979's Alien, 1985's Aliens. I thought Daphne Keane absolutely crushed it. Which is why I'm watching The Acolyte now, and she's in that. And I am hoping I will see more of her before the series is over, not wanting to spoil anything, but she is in the show. In a supporting capacity. I will leave it there. If you know, you know.
See you around, sucker.
So I think what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to switch over because I've been playing as Logan for a while. We haven't played as Tony yet. Ooh, Tony got slung. Now, one of the things that I heard was a real problem that people had with the Avengers game was it was badly designed. It had all the microtransactions and all those problems with it. And that coming fresh off the heels of the movies...
I've just been informed that one of the nuclear missiles launched. All right, you're going to have to activate this.
Go to the navigation room. Okay. Oh, we got to take on Bullseye. This should be fun. And we got 5 minutes to do it. So we got to get past Bullseye. And those 2 Ultron droids. Now, Bullseye is dangerous. He's a Daredevil villain. He was in Season 3 of the Netflix series, and he can turn anything, and I mean anything, into a weapon.
You wouldn't be. Hey, so I.
So you got to be careful with him. Because he can be extremely dangerous. So Thor has leveled up. But we've whittled him down already halfway because you've got 3 Avengers and Logan. So you've got a hammer, a armored power suit, the greatest fighter slash soldier of all time, and the best at what he does, though what he does is not very nice. Oh, but he took out Tony. If you can take out an Asgardian bullseye, I'll be damn impressed. Pick up the assassin's sight. I don't know what that does, but okay. I think we got to go in here because we got 3 minutes. Use the navigational computer, blow up the missile. It goes kerboom.
Well done. Let's talk with yourself.
Colonel Fury, the Masters of Evil are attacking our station.
Black Widow, do not engage the enemy. I want you.
So now we got to get to the engine room. So we're still doing this without Tony because Tony's been incapacitated. And what better way to do this than give Thor a really big pipe? Alright, so where we gotta go here? So it looks like we gotta backtrack this whole way. But that will allow us to come here. We will change team members again because we can drop out Tony. So we got Spidey, we got Storm, we got Luke Cage. I am tempted to go with the Human Torch. The Human Torch has always been an underrated character to me. I think I'm going to do that.
The Human Torch.
Johnny Storm has always been one of those, as hokey as the Fantastic Four seem, and how much grief they get. I always loved the Human Torch. As a concept, I always thought Johnny Storm was just really cool. Alright, so we go this way. Out to the flight deck. And we got about 5 minutes left, so we'll see if we can get through this. This may run a touch long. But if we can get through this scenario, I think we'll be okay. Ooh, and we need to pick up the Scorpion's tail, which we never picked up. I lost my pipe, so I'll grab this pipe. Not quite the same as Mjolnir, but it'll do in a pinch. So as you see up top in the corner, if I hit the L2 button, I can give different commands to the team, depending on which one I want to choose. So, try going, well, I can't go that way. So it looks like we have to go all the way back out here because they're wanting to take out the engines. At least it's what I thought they said. Yep. To an Asgardian wielding a hammer, you better believe everything in sight looks like a frickin' nail. Alright. Let's go over to John here. See what we can do with him. Alright, we came over here. What do they need us to do here? Huh, okay, so we actually don't have any objectives to deal with. Well, I thought Nick said we had to get over here because they were trying to kill the engines. But since we are close enough to a half an hour, I suppose we can call it good here. But this, in a nutshell, is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And it gets us to our usual two questions. One, is this a good game? I would say for what it is, that it was rare to be able to get games where you had a quantity of this many different characters and then that you can build more on top of that and have as diverse a team as you can of these characters to fight these sorts of battles. Because the way licensing is, especially now, it would make trying to create a game like this even harder. You know, now that Square Enix bombed with the Avengers, the chances of us seeing a game of this nature again anytime soon, I would not hold my breath on it. That said, is this a game they could make today? Absolutely they could. I see no reason why that Marvel would not be able to come up with a game of this sort.
I'm glad you made it to the party. The fight to save this. We were hit pretty hard in the initial attack. It took out our forward. Yes. And to make matters worse, we're near the limit. Carry on.
So it is a case of we have to just get down to where, like, engineering is and stop them that way. So, is this a game I could recommend to people? If you want to play a cool Marvel team-up game, or if you want to play just an interesting fighting game that allows you to transition from one character to another fairly seamlessly, yeah, the mechanics of this game are really sound. I will freely concede that. You don't have to do a whole lot of thinking in terms of fighting commands, special attacks, stuff like that. The intricacies in this game come when you want to do things like change the orders, like you could up here, or if you want to come over and set up because you have special attacks that are available, and as you get stronger, more of these special attacks unlock for all characters. So as the game progresses, not only do the villains get stronger, but you get stronger. So there is an impetus on not just taking the same characters out into each scenario. Sure, you want your bread and butter teams. You know that there will be certain guys that will be best served for this type of mission. But that also means with the variety of characters available, you can use somebody like Deadpool. You could use somebody like Daredevil. You could use somebody like Mr. Fantastic or the Invisible Woman or Elektra or Spider-Woman. The variety and the options for different things that are available are massive in a game like this. And that was for gamers like us 20 years ago. That was the big appeal. It was the same thing in the X-Men Legends games, because that was the proof of concept that turned into Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Now, they did do 2 sequels. They did Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Each one was really well received, although in slightly diminishing returns. I think Ultimate Alliance 2 was ultimately, I think, not to repeat myself there, but was considered to be the best of the bunch. You give me your opinions if you played these games. Let me know what was the best one for you. But again, I'm playing this on the PCSX2 emulator for PS2. If you don't have a PS2 of your own, you can try it on that. But as I stated at the beginning, you will have to go in and tweak some of the settings to make it run at 60 FPS and make it run this flawlessly. Otherwise, you will see graphics glitches. There's one thing that if you don't switch off, the game won't even load. Fortunately, you can go online and look up wikis for how to calibrate it. It's not hard. You just got to be able to know where and how to look. But, as I said, that is Marvel Ultimate Alliance, as I can get that out, I swear to God, for the PS2, and that is Sucker Punch Sunday for this week. If you've been enjoying the content, you know what to do. I'm tired of telling you. But in the meantime, be sure to check out our ongoing revisitation of Metal Gear Solid for the PS1. We'll have new videos of those coming back out on Monday and Wednesday. I am done recording all of those videos, by the way. They're done. I just got to get them edited, and fortunately, I have time this week to put those out. They're probably going to run, if I do them 2x2, they're going to go for probably another 3 weeks, I'm thinking. And then they'll be done. And then we will get back to doing our usual fare of one-day playthroughs and WTF Wednesday for a bit. I have already picked out our next playthrough. That's going to happen, but it's going to happen later on in the summer. As I said, these games tend to take a lot of time as far as our playthroughs to make. They're time-intensive. Ask any content creator about that who does similar work. It's not something you crank out in a day. Recording episodes, sure. Editing episodes, no. And also, don't miss out on Sports Saturday as we are carrying on with our great what-if scenario. What if the New England Patriots never heard of and never drafted Tom Brady in 2001? Can we build the dynasty that he built over 20 years in New England, starting with getting to the 2001 Super Bowl? We are now 3-0 in that series, and we got through the game that changed NFL and sports history full stop on Saturday between the Patriots and the New York Jets. So that will be carrying on for the next couple of weeks as well. In the meantime, my name is Ronan. It has been great to spend the Sucker Punch Sunday with you. It's been a long day. It's a long weekend, and it's hot out. Be safe. Be well. Happy gaming. We'll see you tomorrow as we go back into the great white north of Alaska and try and save the world from nuclear Armageddon in Metal Gear Solid. Bye.